She was 48 when she finally decided to kill him. Not with a gun or poison. Those were for younger hearts that still believed in noise. Eleanor Whitmore chose something quieter, more elegant, something that would make Richard feel every year of the 25 he had stolen from her. In 1998, when they were both 23, Richard had been the brilliant young architect everyone in Bath talked about. Eleanor was the quiet literature graduate who worked at the university library. They met at a Christmas party thrown by mutual friends. He quoted Rilke badly. She corrected him gently. By spring, they were living together in a tiny flat above a bookshop. He said he wanted children one day, a house with a garden, the usual promises men make when they are in love and broke. Then came the offer from a London firm. Richard left on a Tuesday morning with one suitcase and a kiss that tasted like goodbye. He wrote for 2 weeks. After that, nothing. No forwarding address, no explanation. Eleanor waited 6 months before she stopped checking the post. She never married. She rose through the library ranks, bought a small terraced house on the edge of the city, and learned to enjoy her own company. People said she was married to her books. Only she knew the truth. She had simply never recovered from being discarded, like a draft that no longer suited the final building. 25 years later, in the autumn of 2023, an email arrived. Subject: I don't expect forgiveness. Dear Eleanor, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last month. Weeks, maybe months. I find myself thinking of you constantly. I was a coward. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. If you're willing, I would like to see you once before the end. No obligation. Richard, Dim. I read it 17 times. Then she printed it, folded it into her purse, and booked a train to London the following week. He lived in a handsome Georgian house in Islington. Apparently the firm had done well. A Filipino nurse let her in. Richard was in the study, thin as paper, wrapped in a burgundy cardigan that used to be tight on him. When he saw her, his eyes filled. Ellie. No one had called her that in decades. They spoke carefully at first. Weather, health, the old friends who had died or moved away. Then the nurse left them alone. Richard reached for her hand. She let him take it. I never stopped loving you, he whispered. I was terrified of the life we would have had. Small city, small salary, small dreams. I thought I needed more. Eleanor smiled the way people smile at very young children who have just said something cruel without realizing it. And now? She asked. Now, I would give every brick I ever designed to have one of those small days back. That night she stayed in a hotel. The next morning she returned with a leather-bound journal she had bought years ago and never written in. She told Richard she wanted to record his memories while there was still time. Something for his daughter. He had a daughter, 21, studying architecture, of course. He was touched. For 10 days, Eleanor came every afternoon. She listened. She asked gentle questions. She wrote. On the 11th day, she brought a bottle of 1985 Chateau Margaux. My father left it to me, she lied. I've been saving it for a special occasion. Richard's eyes shone. The nurse was given the evening off. They opened the bottle at sunset. The wine was perfect, dark, silky, unforgiving. They drank 2 glasses each. He talked about regrets. She talked about forgiveness. At 10 o'clock, he began to feel drowsy. By 11, he could no longer keep his eyes open. Eleanor closed the curtains, sat beside the bed, and opened the journal to the last blank page. With a fountain pen, she wrote a single line in her neat librarian hand. You were right, Richard. Some stories are better left unfinished. Then she took from her bag the real gift she had carried across 25 years. The letters he had written her in those first 2 weeks in London. Passionate, frightened, loving letters, he had ended every one with the same promise. I will come back for you. She arranged them on the duvet like a paper blanket over his chest. One by one, she struck matches and let the corners catch. The flames were small and polite, the way fires are in old houses with good chimneys. Richard never woke. The smoke smelled faintly of cedar and broken promises. When the nurse returned in the morning, the room was cold and the ashes were neat. The official cause was respiratory failure, secondary to advanced malignancy. No one thought to test for the tasteless paralytic Eleanor had obtained from a retired chemist in Bristol, who still believed in crimes of passion. She took the train home the same day. In her little house, she opened the real journal, the one she had kept since 1998, and added a final entry. He died believing I had forgiven him. That was the kindest thing I ever did for either of us.